Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about GameStop today. I want to give you guys a little bit of a rundown into the history of what's been happening with this stock overall, some of the reasons and some of the, not only the causes, but also the effects of what has happened with this stock over the past couple of years that has really kind of put the price, has really depressed price down a lot over time. So I'm going to go over this with you. One of the most interesting things, obviously we all know, right, from a fundamental side, we know that GameStop is a dying industry in general. So there's certainly a lot of reason why, as we were moving towards everything being digital, a lot of people are buying their games through online platforms now. They're buying licenses instead of physical media. So that's got a lot to do with where you saw a lot of this drop in GameStop over time, right? You can pretty much see that. Let's get max data here. Pretty much see that GameStop had actually been doing quite well, even even after the .com burst back here, the 9/11 drop back here. You can see that GameStop had a pretty strong 03, 04, 05, 06. GameStop went from pretty much the price that it is now, or maybe even a little bit lower, about $4 up to $63 a share. So that's a very sizable bull run that GameStop experienced, and there's a lot of reasons for this, right? Because they were doing very well. Gaming was taking off. This is the early 2000s. So this is when a lot of us were cutting our teeth on some of these video games. And then obviously they had a drop after the housing crisis. So this was directly with gaming growing and becoming more and more mainstream, more and more profit. And then we had this high put in, sell off for the housing crisis, see accumulation, and then a move back to the upside. And this is kind of where the fundamentals started to really show on their long-term picture, because again, everybody has their Xbox and their PlayStation, or they have their PC. Everybody is doing a lot more business through places like Epic, places like Steam, places like the Microsoft Store and the PlayStation Store and the Nintendo Store. So it kind of created a downside for GameStop. So normally, from a fundamental aspect, anybody who hears what I'm about to say would probably think I'm out of my mind, and that is that probably everyone should be looking at buying GameStop. Now let me explain why. GameStop is making a pivot. Now, I'm not going to go completely into detail on what this pivot is about or why this pivot, could be potentially profitable for them. That's really not the reasoning behind this argument, but just simply that they are making a pivot has a lot to do with my mindset here. And I'm going to give you more of the idea of why I think that bears are very likely to want to cover their position at some point soon. And that is not so much because GameStop's not going to zero. It could. It very well could. GameStop could also get bought out or absorbed by some other competitor in the space, or just any other retailer that is interesting in expanding. Because here's the thing: GameStop has a huge Muratori in chat was just mentioning this. GameStop has a huge stock. Actually, the biggest collection of retro video game consoles, video games, and peripherals. So they have this all in one place in storage. So that is sort of their last ditch effort, right? If they decide that they're going to start to sell off a lot of these things that hold a lot of value, that some of this stuff is antique. So a lot of these things are very, very valuable. So they have not only that would be a good sign to see that they're really having an extinction crisis. But here's the thing: GameStop is $7 from zero. If you were a bear and you sold this at $57, you've collected already $50 out of $57 of your potential profit, right? So that means 50 divided by 57. You've collected 87.7% of the available move that you could make from your shorting of the highs of this. So that means that you have a B+ on this trade, right? Now, here's the fact, though. If this market were to experience a short squeeze, or if this market were to, let's say, on the off chance that the things that GameStop's management are doing right now work, and this pivot is successful and GameStop becomes far more profitable than it ever was, or even as profitable as it once was, yeah, this stock could experience a large amount of growth. Is that likely? Well, not really. But here's the thing. You've got an 87% capture of this entire move at this point. So do you wait to get that other 13%, or do you hold the entire time, right? So now I started that to show you guys this, right? So you've collected 87% of the move. Now this is a list, it's highshortinterest.com. We'll definitely put a link to that in the description below. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this or you're learning anything, definitely click on the subscribe button to the channel, and definitely click on the like on the video so that other people can check it out as well. So GameStop is the #1 high short interest company in all of the market, right? So this stock has a 101.75% short interest. So that means that there are so many shares shorted that some of the shares are shorted twice. That's really what that means. Like 1.75% of the shares have been shorted twice because there's that many people short on this stock. So we know something fundamental about markets, right? And that is an at least number. It could be more even at this point. But we know something fundamental about markets, right? Anybody who's come to my Twitch stream, you guys know something very, very fundamental about markets. And this is something that I talk about all the time. People are probably tired of hearing me say it. But it is commonly known that 90% plus of people who are engaged in markets, who are active in markets, that they lose, right? So when we know that and we see something getting this off balance, where there's so many people short of this stock, so many shares short of this stock, that it's more than all of the shares available, right? When the market gets lopsided like this, and we know that statistically 90% or more people are going to lose, this becomes an opportunity to fade the market, right? This is what the market, this is what's happening, this is where we're dropping from up here all the way down, and now we're at a point where so many people are short. And again, like I was telling you, you've already captured 87% of the move. You know that 101%, 102% almost of shares are shorted. And the only thing you can do is capture an additional 13% of the profit that you could miss out on, right? Is that worth it? Is an extra 13% worth the chance of losing 87%? If something crazy happened and this stock did experience a massive short squeeze, like any other stock can experience, it's got a 54.73 million share float, so it's not like GameStop is a huge float stock. They only have 64 million shares outstanding to begin with. So this is already a very manipulatable stock that has a huge short interest and not a whole lot more downside for bears to really want to hold on. So your proposition is you either cover your shorts now and you get out, which nobody's doing this. I can't believe that nobody's doing this. It blows my mind. But nobody is actually doing that. No one is just covering all of their shares. It doesn't seem like it. So now we'll take a look at some of the lower time frames on this. We do 30-minute, 180 days is how I usually like to look at the lower time frames on charts. So you can see this had earnings here just recently last week. We had a sell-off on earnings, and then you can see it pretty much very quickly got bought right back up. Earnings were not excellent. I believe they came in under expectation. That's not the only stock that I've talked about on this stream that I missed out. Adobe. I'm telling you guys, that ETF, the everything Don Vietz doesn't buy that he likes ETF, that thing is fire. I'm just saying. So yeah, you guys can kind of see how this had some spike back up here. Let's look at the daily actually here. This had a pretty large spike back when it hit a low of 257. This is back during the COVID drop that we had. This is definitely the best time to have bought this in retrospect, obviously. But this is really where it started to show that this was pretty much getting ready. Let me get a little more data on the... There we go. So you could kind of see how this is built in accumulation. Accumulation is something I talk about all the time on the channel. Again, something that most of the guys in here are probably sick of hearing, but I'm never going to be sick of saying it, because accumulation and distribution are, quite frankly, the best ways to analyze markets that I have found in all of my days. Hang on one second. I'm just trying to pull this up so I can show it to you guys on the stream here. There we go. And there we go. All right, so you can kind of see how similar this. Here's the thing. When this is setting up, now that that's all passed, when this is setting up, you can really pretty clearly see, right? You have your second... I can't remember what this is called. Selling climax, sorry. I was thinking second test. So your selling climax, you kind of see the automatic rally building. You can see that second higher high. You can see your STB here. You can see move up. You can see a spring form, your final phase, and then we kind of have our phase D price action is happening. Ooh. Our phase D price action is kind of happening right now, and we've come into the final phase of that with a retest of the range. So this is actually setting up from a technical perspective. This is setting up very, very strong to push more to the upside, right? So this has a huge amount of potential. So we went over shorts having already collected the majority, the smart money who was in this short for a long time. They've already collected most of the move that's available, right? You can see that this is a very, very clean lower time frame daily chart accumulation. You can even see this if you really zoom out on, it's a 4 hour, I think you can see it on as well. Maybe a little bit more time on that. So you can actually see this kind of building on the 4 hour as well. This very, very clean accumulation setup. We've got a lot of reasons why technically this could go up, even though fundamentals are not quite, quite there for it. So that being said, just bear with me 1 second. So that being said, we've got a very, very clean accumulation, right? Basically as textbook as they come. We have a very, very high short interest, and most shorts that were interested in this from way, way, way back, they have already collected the majority of the move on the short side that's available here. So that is most of the reasons why we have our bullish plan for GameStop. I hope that you guys liked it. If you did like it, definitely click the like button on the video. Definitely hit that subscribe button as well. Like I said, if you enjoyed this content, definitely come and check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DonVeets. We are on everyday live trading at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and every day after the market closes at 4:30 Eastern Time p.m. And we do this. We talk about the market. We go over some interesting ideas and strategies with chat. And during the day we do have a lot of fun doing live trading as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for coming.